Hi, this is AndyG from the WeExperience.com. I thought I'd show you a little bit of the TurboGrafx game Military Madness. We had some people wondering what that game could be all about. So we're going to go ahead and show you some of that game. We've got it right here, Military Madness, ready to go. It's from the TurboGrafx 16 back in 1990. You can play this one player against the computer or two players against each other. So let's go ahead and get it started. What Military Madness is, it's a turn-based military strategy game. If you've ever played Advance Wars, it's kind of like a really basic version of that. And we're just going to touch on some of the more basic. Actually, we're going to play the first level today and just get some hands-on and just to show you what's going on here. And I've already got a game going on, so I'm going to go ahead and reset it. And it's no big deal. Let me get the intro screen going on. Military Madness! Madness indeed. Alright, let's go ahead and push our start button. And it's got a fancy little intro here. Let's skip that. Let's get right to the game. We're on stage 1 here, and this is map 1. And I'm using the Wii remote. I'm just using it like this, turned sideways, so that you can use the cross pad and the 1 and 2 button to navigate and do things here. And let's see if I can remember how this game controls. But essentially what you're looking at here is the whole play field for this map. And I've got a little cursor that I'm moving around with my control pad. You might be able to see it moving around. It's that white spot. And this is the play field. That's one of my tanks. I'm going to highlight one of my little G.I. Joe characters. And you can see some information down at the bottom about it. You can see, as I highlight this man, I've got, at the bottom left, I've got 8 men in my group. They're GX-77. That's the name of it. Let's see what this tank's called. It's an S-61 Bison tank. These are GX-77 Charlies, and they don't have any experience, but your guys will gain experience, which will allow them to shoot better and take defense better. You can see to the right as we go across the bottom the terrain and how much the terrain is factoring in. So for this tank, it gets a 5% bonus for its attacks and defense because of the terrain that it's on. It's in the dirt there. Whereas this guy's in the middle of the road, so he doesn't get a bonus. Over on the right, you have a pretty simplified menu. You can shift your men around, you can attack, you can do a guide, and you can end your turn. And this is turn-based, so basically you move all of your men, and then you end your turn, and then the computer moves his men, or the player 2 moves their men and does their attacks and their moves and stuff like that. So let's go ahead and do some things here. As you can see, the enemy is right here. He's got a man here, he's got a man here, he's got a tank, he's got another tank. There's their base. Here's our base over here to the left. We're the blue and he's the green. And we've got 3 tanks and 2 men. He's got 2 tanks and 2 men. So we kind of outnumber him. This is the first level. Should be fairly easy. Also on the right, underneath the menu, you can see the map. We're on map 1. The name of the map is Revolt. This is the first turn. And you can see at the bottom there, I'm user 1 and I have 5 units available to me. And the computer player 2 has 4 units total. And that comes in handy as the maps get bigger, because they do get bigger to the point that you have to scroll to the borders and get the maps to scroll. And then you can see at a quick glance how you're doing against the computer or your opponent by seeing how many units they have left. So let's get to business. I'm just going to move some of my guys around here first of all. I'm going to hit the 2 button, I'll highlight this guy and hit the 2 button, and I'm going to go ahead and go to Shift. And whenever you hit Shift, you can move your tank around to different areas. And as you highlight, you can see the terrain change values, and you'll get bonuses depending on what terrain you're sitting on. Well, I'm going to go ahead and mount this tank and set him right there. And I'll press 2 again, and that'll go ahead and get him to move there and complete that move. Now I'm going to shift this tank over, and let's just get him a little bit closer to the action. And we'll go ahead and end him right there in case his, I'm waiting for his G.I. Joes up here to get crazy, and I'm going to take him out with that tank, just in case they do. Let's go ahead and shift this army man over here into the mountains, and you'll notice in the mountains, you get a 40% terrain bonus, so that's pretty cool. Tanks can't move through mountains, the little G.I. Joe guys can. So we're going to put that guy right there. Let's go ahead and get this tank positioned right here. And I got one more guy to move. And as you notice, whenever you finish your moves, all your tanks and G.I. Joes and your units essentially turn gray, indicating that that is the end of their turn. So that's it right there. I've gone ahead and finished out my turn. I've removed all of my men. And now I'm going to hit 2 again. And I'm going to go to End. And that's going to end my turn. Now the computer is going to start. Computer thinking, computer thinking. It thinks for a minute. And then it's going to move its pieces. Oh, his little men are going to try to attack me. Let's see what they can do. On the left, this is the attack screen. You see my attack power and defense power. On the right, you've got his. And it takes into account the terrain bonus. And let's see if we can see that again. He ended his turn. He didn't even move all his guys. He ended his turn pretty shortly, I'd have to say. I'm going to go ahead and start off with this tank right here. And I'm going to shift him around a little bit more. And once I get here, you can hit 2 again, and it knows that I'm close to this tank within attack range. So now I can select attack on the right. It's highlighted in red. I'm going to select attack. It's already selected. I'm going to highlight his tank to attack his tank, and we'll go into attack mode. I've got 600 attack now with my terrain bonus, 336 defense opposed to him. Boom, I took him out. I took out a lot of his guys, I think 5 of them. So now that tank unit of his only has 3 tanks left, and you can see that at the bottom as you highlight over it. You can also see how many units basically the opponent has by highlighting his unit. So this tank has 3 tanks in that unit. Well, mine has 8. And I get we're on even terrain, so there is no terrain bonus. So let's go ahead and highlight my tank here, and I'm going to select attack instead of shift. I'm going to attack that tank, and I've got 8 tanks attacking his 3. Who do you think's going to win? Well, let's find out. Bragadoon! Took them all out. I've got 7 tanks left. He did take out one of mine. He got lucky. Let's go ahead and select this tank, and we're going to select attack, and we're going to attack this guy. We're going to attack his infantry with our tanks. We have 8 tanks, 6 units. He only has 24 defense. I mean, really. Okay, now he has 2 units left in that little, in that unit right there. Let's go ahead and shift these G.I. Joes over to here. Let's go ahead and hold them back for one more round. And I want to get these G.I. Joes moved over there as well. I'm going to keep them back just in case his units try to sneak through the mountains on us. And that was our turn. We've already used all of our moves. All our men are gray. And we'll go down to end and end our turn. So it's really, again, if you've played Advance Wars, this game will come as again, a more basic version of Advance Wars. Let's see what he does with this tank. Oh, he's going to attack my guys. He's got 8 tanks. I've only got 6. He's definitely got the advantage here, although I have a terrain bonus, which makes my defense stronger. So he didn't do quite as much damage as he probably hoped he had done. And he's going to use his G.I. Joes to attack my 4 remaining tanks, which was really a bad move on his part. I hope my tanks destroy him. We took out one of his infantry, so he only has 1 infantry left. And again, this is the first level, so it is very basic. But as the levels go on, you get more units. You have rocket infantry that can really take out tanks. You can build units later on with a certain building that you'll get. And it really takes you slowly through these newer things as they come about, so it doesn't really thrust you into the middle of anything that's very confusing at all. Let's go ahead and shift this unit here, and I'm going to get him into a position where I can attack his infantry that are trying to sneak around. Pretty even battle here. And no one really took out anybody. So, let's see what we've got. I've got 4 tanks. He's got 6 there. I've got 8 tanks there. I'm going to go ahead and shift this tank back here and get him out of the way, and just in case these infantry have trouble with those other infantry down there, I'm going to shift this tank down here and go ahead and finish off. Let's see, should I take out the rest of the tanks, or should I take out the G.I. Joe? I'll take out the rest of the tanks here. It's 8 versus 6. I've definitely got the advantage if you look at the stats at the bottom. Oh, I took him down to 2. This is almost over, folks. Let's go and do one more attack on his tanks. And this is really, it's really this simple in the beginning. And as you grow again, it's got more and more that it adds to the game. And it's really a fun game. I was very surprised. I expected it to be neat, but it's a lot more fun than I honestly expected. Let's go and get our infantry up here. And this should really take out, he's got 1 infantry against our 8. We're up on a bridge. But there is no terrain bonus apparently, so, oh, we got him. And that's the end of our move. Let's go ahead and let him make a move. Not much of a decision there, buddy. He chickened out. He didn't even make a move. He didn't even attack our guys or anything. Now let's go ahead and shift this infantry into the mountains, and we're going to get a 40% terrain bonus, and we're right beside the enemy infantry. So we're going to attack those with it's 8 versus 8, but notice how we're in the mountains, and we're going to get a pretty heavy-duty bonus because of that. And we should be able to take a couple out at least. 1! Let me move these tanks over here. See if I can do some more damage. That tank's going to go on top of this hill. We're going to attack these guys from on top of this hill. Oh, this should do some damage. There we go. Brought him down to 3. And now I'm going to attack with these guys. I've got 8 versus 3 here. I could have moved them into the mountains as well and given them a bonus, but I forgot. It's no big deal. We've almost got them. And just for fun, let's go ahead and shift these tanks closer. And just in case he tries to get away, I'll shift this one back here. And we'll end our turn. And he probably won't do a thing. If he does, he's going to end his game. So we basically have him checkmated if this was chess. If he moves, he dies. If he attacks, he dies. So let's go ahead and attack and finish him off. This should do it. He's got 4 defense and 14 attack. I've got 232 and 40. We take him out. And that's it. If the enemy reaches your base, the game is over. If the enemy defeats you, the game is over. Your forces have crushed the enemy. You now control the area. Free your prisoners and prepare for the next battle. And it's got a little chart here showing how you did and some fancy graphics at the bottom there. And when you hit start, you'll go back to the map, and we've opened up the second level. And I won't surprise it for you. Let's go ahead and go into the second level, and you can see it's a little bit more in depth. It's got more units. It's got more coverage area. I've played this one before, and what happens is this unit right here on the enemy will try to sneak around the back. So you've got to make sure that you have this side covered, as well as mounting a front offensive right here to take out his tanks and stuff like that. And again, the game goes on, and it keeps introducing new units and new abilities and all kinds of new fun stuff. Eventually they get a repair base where they can bring their men back to and repair their men to come back and fight you and stuff like that. It's a really fun game. I believe it's 600 points on the Virtual Console from the TurboGrafx 16 section, and I highly recommend it. This is AndyG from the Wii Experience, and I thank you for watching this video.